people born wicked? Or do they have wickedness thrust upon them?
Wicked is the 2024 adaptation of the 2003 play that's really, really big, and so many people love that. The play is based off the 1995 book. The two biggest names in this is Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. By the way, before we get into this whole review, this is all going to be spoilers here. So if you haven't seen Wicked, please leave and then come on back. This movie starts off at the end of The Wizard of Oz. And I thought that was really, really cool the way that started out.
Me too. But I was really shocked to see that part 1 pop up after the name. I'm like, Wicked Part 1. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, God. Why drag this out for 2 films? Because as you pointed out before we start recording, the actual play is about 2.5 hours, which is the length of part 1. Like, what? Ironically, for me personally, I liked the play and I liked this movie. I thought the best part of the play starts when this movie ends. So I was like, oh, I had no clue what the play was about when I watched it. And I thought the storyline was so clever and it felt refreshing. And so I imagine this movie will have that same effect on people who watch this film, but at an even larger scale. It recontextualizes, and not in a bad way, in a very interesting and compelling way, the events of The Wizard of Oz. So I'm like, yeah, so from a certain point of view, even someone like the Wicked Witch of the West could be seen in a more positive or sympathetic light. And I thought that was really, really good and really interesting.
This film is a musical, people. If you don't know nothing about Wicked at all, this is a musical. You have 2 of the most beautiful sounding singing voices that's in this film. So there's going to be some singing and some dancing. Right. And this comes from the director of In the Heights, John M. Cho. So you know it's going to be, 36,000.
96,000. Damn.
Or whatever, 96,000 up in here to the max, okay?
96,000.
96,000.
96,000? It's to the max, okay? He knows how to direct song and dance, and it looks flawless throughout this film.
It looks great.
Unlike some other people that tried to do it earlier this year with the Joker and Harkonnen.
Get out of here, Joker.
Get out of here. Get on, get. Michelle Yeoh, she plays basically the dean of this school where the Wicked Witch of the West and the Good Witch is attending.
The movie starts off with the ending of The Wizard of Oz, and then we see the events just after where the Good Witch is telling the story of Elphaba. We see a flashback, and we learn Glinda and Elphaba were classmates in college. And this college, it looks suspiciously like Hogwarts. You know what I mean? They're going to sorcery class, but I guess they have other classes too, I guess. So it's not just a wizard school or something. But this introduces me to my first big issue with the film. This film seems to keep forgetting that Elphaba's one weakness is water. And yet this college is on an island, or it is an island itself. So she's surrounded by water. Why the F would she want to go to this school, yo? And then on top of that, there are scenes where there's a school, it's a class dance, and the dance is underwater with a glass ceiling on top. I'm like, this is gonna come into play. They're definitely gonna talk about this glass ceiling. Does not come into play. To get the class, she has to skip over stones. Boop, 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 boop. Yep. But the stones are in the river. I'm like, oh, so one slip of a foot and she's dead? I feel like there should be more talk about this.
They showed her that she was dead at the beginning of the film.
By a glass of water.
By water, right.
That's like going to a school surrounded by lava. You know what I mean? And you have to hop over stones to get to class.
And you want me to sing doing this?
I'm supposed to be singing and dancing in heels? No. You know what I mean? It's not Elphaba that is supposed to be going to this college.
Right,
it's her sister. Her sister is, as I say, she's so beautiful. She's is it tragically beautiful? And her parents dote over Elphaba's sister, but they really don't like Elphaba.
Yeah,
Turns out no one likes Elphaba because of her green skin. She's just always been an outsider. People recoil when she shows up, and I thought it was very profound and meaningful that they had a black woman play Elphaba, but she was just there to drop off her little sister. She ends up staying, and she's like so happy to stay, as if this was the only thing she ever wanted in her life. But I'm like, it kind of dawned on me that they never gave her any kind of motivation prior to her getting that privilege to stay at the school. What does Elphaba want? And she doesn't even get a motivation until about halfway through, where she accidentally uncovers some sort of conspiracy involving the animals of Oz. So I thought that was a little messy. But it does feel ticky-tacky when the movie is so big and colorful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Elphaba in this film, she cannot control her powers at all. When a lot of the stuff that goes down when they first get to this school, where she's trying to protect her sister and she ends up freaking breaking everything with her powers, Michelle Yeoh sees this as an opportunity that we don't find out until later. We think that she's using her for good, and she's like, "Oh, you're my star student. Let's get you into this college." And maybe you can be like really, really good at this. Ariana Grande's character, Glinda, she is like all over the headmistress, Madame Morrible. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, I like you. I love you. I want to do anything for you and stuff like that. And she's not even paying her no mind, because she's like, I don't see anything in you.
Exactly. Okay. So we understand Ariana's motivation very clearly. She wants to be a sorcerer. Elphaba seems to show no interest in being a sorcerer. Apparently, magic is more rare than you would think in the world of The Wizard of Oz. Supposedly, Michelle Yeoh has real magic. I'm trying to think. I never saw her actually use any magic in the film. No. And the only character that uses magic is Elphaba. And I think this is important because, of course, the big reveal, the big twist in The Wizard of Oz is that the actual wizard has no magic. That the actual wizard is all smoke and mirrors, right?
It's a fake.
And there's a great scene where Michelle Yeoh is like, okay, that's the book, that's the book we need you to read. This is like some sort of magic book. No one even remembers how to even read this language, right? It's like a lost language. And so she's like, look, I've read some words, but it's going to take some time, some years. And she's like, F that. And she just starts reading from the book. I thought it was really great. I was like, oh, what a scary and powerful moment.
And it'll go from like a miniature musical to just a full blown acting, conversation of dialogue between two characters. And I thought that was good. And then it just went into straight up, musical numbers from time to time, because she presents this problem to the wizard about the animals, but she ends up figuring out that actually the wizard and Madame Morrible is a part of the whole problem about the animals. I was like, you know what? Justice for the Wicked Witch. That's what I was saying the whole time. Just for the Wicked Witch. But then when it said to be continued, I was like,
oh. By cutting it in half, it also cuts in half a lot of the side plots too. Like Peter Dinklage plays this goat who he's the last like animal professor at this Harry Potter light school. In the middle of the film, they pull him out of class and say, you know what, we've had a change of heart. No more animal professors. Get the F out of here. Get in the cage. And he gets carted off. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened to the professor?
Right.
Don't know. And so the second movie will have to make me care about that side plot again in order for there to be any payoff at all, right? So stuff like that, man. I just wish we had I like a movie with a beginning, middle, and end. We got the beginning, we got the middle, no end. And I'm like, no end. So it kind of leaves you feeling, at least I'll say it lets me feeling unsatisfied. But of course, that is on purpose. So you can go buy a ticket to watch Wicked Part 2. But, I would prefer a complete story.
It definitely did make me feel, unsatisfied also. But we talked about, the plot. And we talked about, these characters of Glinda and Elphaba, but we did not talk about the musicals.
If you really love this music, you're going to love this movie. It's the exact same songs they play in the play that are in this film. But for some reason, when it's live action, for me, nothing really stood out, except for, the ones that have turned into memes, like popular, you're gonna be popular. That stuff like that stood out only because I recognized it.
Whatever the song that they were talking about in the library, I just thought it was cool to see that. The guy that was there
was cool too.
The set was awesome. Flyro, he seemed like a guy who's into himself. Elphaba actually seems like she wants to have a relationship with him. I thought that the movie would talk more about that, but it really just skipped over that, really quickly.
Right. And that's a bad part of splitting this movie's up in half. It's like, oh, did you like that? Did you like that? Too fucking bad. You're not going to get it in this movie. You're going to get it in the next one, okay?
Yeah.
So to me, it always feels like a gut punch. I'm always like, oh, always feel let down. Ariana Grande, while I thought she was a fantastic choice to play Glinda, because she does have that very operatic voice, like, oh, you know, she's like a great choice. And I thought her performance was pretty good, you know, especially since she mostly just been singing. You know, she kind of left her acting days behind. I thought her performance was pretty good. I wish she had bulked up just a little bit.
And she is kind of small, and I've seen her in other interviews and stuff like that where it seems like she's just like lost even more weight.
Yeah, she lost a lot of weight. And it's coming out of her face. So it's like, it's kind of hard to like not see it. You know what I mean?
Well, the character of Glinda in this, as I said before, she is very egotistical. And she's very for herself, and so many of her cronies follow her throughout school. This film was very colorful. This film sets was really good. Everything, it did exactly what we said about with Gladiator. All the special effects should be in the background, but everything that's up front should be, you know, practical and stuff. Like when the sets, when they're singing and they're dancing and stuff like that, looks really, really, really good and put together very, very well. Costume design looks really good in this. The downfall of this film for me is the fact of how abruptly it did stop and say, hey, speaking to you,
come back for part 2, you know?
The movie left with Elphaba in the sky.
Right, literally. And what's really interesting is in the play, that is by far, in my opinion, the best scene. When she rises up and she's like actually flying. You're like, why? Because you don't expect to see a human actually flying on stage. And there she is flying. It's great. And the stage play is just fantastic. And this movie is also pretty good. I think most people will like this movie. I think most people will think this is a very agreeable film. I just wish it was just one film instead of 2. This movie's fun. It's good. You will probably like it.
Right. For sure.
It feels, you know, this is like, it's like eating McDonald's. You know, every once in a while, McDonald's is okay. But if you try to survive off a lifetime of McDonald's, you're going to be sick and you're going to feel gross. And so this is no more studio fare, more McDonald's, just, you know, brought right to your face. It's familiar. It's warm. You know exactly what it is. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. And I guess because it's been a while for me, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but you know, I don't like the fact that they shorted me on my fries. So I just wanted more fries, man. That's all I said. Just give me more fries at the end. You know, my fries left the building at the end of that.
Our metaphor was going way too long. I feel like I unwrapped my burger and it was just half a burger in there. And I'm like, hey, I paid full price for this shit.
But hey, that's how we feel about this film. All right. More importantly, how do you feel about this film? Get in the comments and let us know what you thought about Wicked. That's how I'm saying it. Wicked. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really do appreciate you. Devin really does appreciate you because you are talking to us. All right. You're talking to us. You are conversating with us. You're viewing the videos. So if you're new to seeing our faces, click that subscribe button right at the bottom, all right? You'll get more videos like this and you'll enjoy it. If you did like this review, please do us a favor and hit that thumbs up. Or you can hit that thumbs down, whichever you choose. It is your opinion, but just remember one thing, it is mostly wrong.